I knew it would happen one day, so I wasn't shocked when one of my teams announced in class, "Hey, professor, we think we broke GLO-BUS." I tried to act surprised and asked, "Well, how did that happen?" "Well," they said, "we had all of our numbers perfect. Then when GLO-BUS ran the results, it botched everything, and now we're screwed. So we think something is really wrong with GLO-BUS." I said, "I think I understand." Then I used their story as a way to explain how GLO-BUS and BSG score your performance. And that's what I want to relate to you today. As you've probably figured out, GLO-BUS uses 5 measures to calculate your score. These are earnings per share, return on equity, image rating, credit rating, and your company's stock price. You've probably also noticed that your investors, the owners of your GLO-BUS company, have set expectations for you in each of these categories. In addition to that, you've probably seen this best in industry score thing and wondered where it fits into the picture. Once we lay out how all this works, we'll talk about those guys who broke GLO-BUS. Because the investor expectation score is on a 100-point scale, each of the 5 measures counts for 20 points. If your company meets expectations in one of the measures exactly, then you will receive the full 20 points. If you exceed expectations by 10%, you'll get 110% of the 20 points, or 22 points. And you'll get 90% if you meet only 90% of the expectation. So it's possible for you to get a score greater than 100 for your total investor expectation score. But as an investor in the camera and drone industry, I can invest my money in any company, and I want the maximum possible return on my investments. So you need to beat my shareholder expectations and also do it better than your competitive rivals. That's where the best in industry score comes into play. If your company has the highest level of one of the measures in your industry, the best in industry score will award your team the full 20 points for that measure. If, however, your team gets, say, 90% of what the industry leading company achieves, then your company will receive 90% of the industry's leaders' 20 points. Only the industry leader for each measure gets the full 20 points. This then means that the maximum best in industry score your company can achieve is 100 points. And that can happen only if you achieve the highest level for the industry in all 5 measures. Your final score then is the average of your investor expectation score and your best in industry score. This means that you can't just beat your investors' expectations, you have to do it better than your rivals. Now to those GLO-BUS breakers. You've probably seen how making changes in your decision screens changes, for example, your projected earnings per share. But what you see is a projection of what your EPS will be when GLO-BUS tabulates this fiscal year's competitive changes. Consider this equation that predicts the demand for your company's cameras. And don't run away, the math won't get too deep here. Here, Q is the predicted quantity demanded for, say, your cameras. That quantity demanded is dependent on the price you set for your cameras, the price your competitors set for their cameras, your advertising budget, and a number of other variables. When you make competitive changes in the current fiscal year, you're changing the blue variables. The red coefficients that affect your estimates are determined by the intensity of competition in your industry. When GLO-BUS runs everyone's competitive changes on Sunday at midnight, it recomputes the red coefficients that you'll face in the next fiscal year. So changes that you make this year interact with the market and your competitive rivals' changes to determine the nature of competition, the red coefficients, for next year. The reason that the projections you see this year don't hold exactly true in the next year is that the changes you make this year haven't yet interacted with the changes in market conditions. In other words, you see the projected effects of changing the price of your product, something you can see, but your projections can't see the price changes that other companies intend to make in their products. This holds true in the real world as well. When one company makes changes in its product or its strategy, the market and its rivals react to those changes. Those reactions then lead the company to adjust its strategy along with changing market conditions. So my students didn't break GLO-BUS at all. It worked as it was supposed to work. The only thing broken was a couple of guys' understanding of GLO-BUS. If GLO-BUS is working and your company isn't, let us know in the comments and we'll try to answer your questions. And thanks for watching.